Good morning, everybody. This is Christy. I am the Intimate Warrior. I thank you so much for stopping by, and as always, I send you love. And so in today's video, I'm talking about the Stellium that I spoke about earlier in January. It's one of the visions that I received back in December that I didn't quite have enough information on, and so I didn't make a video about it until about 3 weeks ago, which is labeled February 2021. Aquarius is going to get crowded. So you can go check out that video. It's really brief, about under 9 minutes long. If you just wanted to know what I was talking about, or if you do not recall, want to refresh your memory. We are already feeling this type of pull again as to what is going to be taking place. We will be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, really 7 planets, but they don't include Pluto as a planet any longer. So you know, Pluto will join the mix towards the end here. So what we are going to have is, we're going to have Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, along with an asteroid, Pallas, if I am saying that correctly. And let's not forget, of course, it's the sun and the moon that's included in this. Stellium, that's all going to be within the sky at the same time, simultaneously. So let's talk about this as best as we possibly can. Now, when we are working with our tree of life, because we always are, we're taking the world of, what we're attempting to do is taking the world of emanation and embedding it into creation, embedding it into formation, embedding it into manifestation here on this earth plane. This is also going to be affecting our mind, our soul, our ego. When we look at this tree of life, or how it coordinates with the tree of life, we're going to be working with both sides of the tree of life here. Most of the times we are working with, not all the time, but many of the times we are working with more one side more than the other, oftentimes. And there seems to be it may seem as it's an imbalance, because one side might be working with 2 or 3, and the other side might be working with one part of the tree of life in coordination with the planets, because the planets are always working with us on our tree of life. So we have an even amount now of planets from left and right, because I'm also going to mention that it's filling out, because we are also Mars will be in Taurus during this time, and Taurus is associated with Venus, so there's that link up. And Mercury is in retrograde, which is already in Aquarius. So that is another hookup. Neptune, well, will be in Pisces during this time frame. So of course that's still going to be a major influence as well. But the other planets being in Aquarius is going to get really, and I'm not going to, it's going to stir some things up. It's going to stir up some things and get some things accomplished. And of course, I'm talking about being in the form of being accomplished and how you are growing in your own life, because this is always about ourselves. Although others are always going to be affected or can be affected, the collective is going to be affected. Things are going to kind of can be either off or great depending on how people are taking these energies in. But we are responsible for our own lives, and that is the only place we should be having our focus at. We should be focused on ourself, not comparing, oh, well, it's okay because everybody else is feeling this way, so it's okay that I'm feeling this way as well. Every day we have a chance when things take place, regardless or if it's good or bad, to get back in alignment with our highest self. So it's important for us to take advantage of what's working. And even if it's not working, we always have a chance to flip the switch. And so, like I said, Pluto is will be in Capricorn, but it will be making its way into Aquarius towards the end phase here. And this is going to stick around for about 4 weeks. Now, when it comes to giving you an idea of how this may affect us in, in small terms, Saturn is about rules and regulations, control. Jupiter can be about opportunities, luck, and perspective. Mercury is about communication. Proper communication can be about family members and neighbors. And Venus is about love, money, and vanity. The Sun is about ego and creativity. And the Moon, of course, deals with all of our hidden aspects of our emotions that we are kind of like, suppressing. So that's just a little heads up there for brief type of characteristics of what we can be going through emotionally as a result of all of this crowded planetary space. So if I can go back to the vision of what I saw and kind of give an interpretation, is they are lining up. They were lined up together. When things line up together, it begins to click. It begins to make sense. Things begin to fall into place. Keep in mind, just because things are happening right now like this, where things can be lining up or are supposed to, there is still a process of allowing life to unfold the way that it's supposed to. So let me give you an example. If we open up a chakra, it's a process. We purify it, which means we have to go through this intense purging. We have to learn new beliefs associated with it and embed them within that chakra, believing in what we are now learning that is new and giving it great power. And then eventually, because we will also have a point of when the integration process comes in, that the chakra is going to be sealed shut again. Not in the form of being closed off, but being in the form of protected. Because now it has those beliefs that are more powerful, and we don't want to allow that power to become lost. And this is a process continuously, and until those chakras are sealed back up so that nothing else can shatter them, because your belief system has been raised to the point of a greater perspective, greater love, whatever. You're never going to be harmed, and it's never going to be tampered with again. And I'm using this because I had a seal closed last night. And this, of course, is not the first time that a chakra was closed. They will be open. You will have your lessons. You will have your purging. You will have new beliefs stored, new powers added, and then you will have it sealed. But even still, when it is sealed, you have still more learning to do on now, how do I use this properly? So my point is that there's still going to be some time. It's not going to be instant, or you might feel, of course, one day where things are just lining up beautifully for you. And then the next day you could feel a little bit disconnected again. And that is still a process. Until we have completely done everything that we are supposed to do in relationship to, of course, our tree of life, the chakras that we are always dealing with, receiving our higher self, there's no end to this. And I hope you're not thinking in terms of, when is this going to be over? It's not ever going to be over. We are always going to be receiving and upgrading, evolving, expanding. And it's really important to get into that proper mindset of being ready to always grow at every given moment of your life. And the more that you are excited about growing, the easier this journey is going to really be. So I hope this has really has helped you, just to give you a further heads up on this, of course. And of course, if anything else comes into in relationship to this, you guys know I'm going to fill you in. And I'm going to try to go back here. So in relationship, again, to the tree of life in our chakras, this is going to affect the crown, the throat, the heart, and even our lower chakras. Full on effect here. And that's not to scare you in any way, shape, or form. This is a major integration process here of really receiving, really becoming, and really being able to use. Things are definitely going to be lining up in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not saying everything in your life is going to make sense. That's not what I'm saying. But there is going to be something, quite possibly it could be one thing in your life that maybe hasn't been working out, or you've been kind of doubting that area, whatever it is. It's going to begin to make sense. Of course, it could be more than one thing that's going to begin to make sense for you. things are going to line up some way, shape, or form. Things are going to make sense in some way, shape, or form. We're going to have understanding in some way, shape, or form. But it's up to us to stay true to ourselves, to believe in ourselves, to believe in our journey, to believe what it is taking place. To always recenter back in love as best and as quickly as we possibly can. I also, being that we are in Mercury retrograde, that backspin again, not only can appliances begin to malfunction. I don't know about you, but we've had a lot of things go wrong in the house. My phone has been doing stuff for about a week or so, week and a half. Excuse me. Glitches are just everywhere. So that is one aspect of Mercury retrograde. But remember, Mercury is about that communication. And when it's going in reverse fashion, if you will, and people are not going inward and taking that pause and taking that breath and thinking prior to verbalizing, it comes out in the incorrect manner. Make sure that if you are observing this, that you do not become a part of it, and that if it is you who is doing it, you still have an opportunity to recenter yourself and correct what has taken place. So Mercury is going to pull this out. Don't allow that to be an excuse. It's never a reason to not use proper communication. It's always important to use proper communication, and the only way that we can use proper communication is if we stop. We have that pause. We take in that breath. We think properly and reassess the situation and reflect in love. This is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.